Are you an independent author with an incredible story to share? Are you afraid your book will get lost in a sea of books? True Vine Publishing Company can help you stand out. We're not just a publishing service, we're your partner in success. We provide personalized marketing strategies and eye-catching covers that will captivate your audience. We will build your author platform and connect with your readers. We have helped countless authors achieve success, and we can help you too. Break free from the shadows, take control of your publishing journey, and make your mark. Visit TrueVinePublishing.com or call 615-44-BOOKS to schedule a consultation.
Hello, this is Timothy Bond with True Vine Publishing Company, and you're watching the next episode of The Right Change, where our guest today is Brandi Payne, author of Can He Pray For Me Instead of Praying On Me? Brandi, how are you today?
I am doing great, and it's an honor to just be here with you today. It's an honor to just, I truly thank you for allowing my vision to come to life. I really, truly appreciate that.
I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of your vision. You could have gone anywhere, but you gave me that opportunity to help you, and so I want to thank you for that as well. So what I want to do, I'm excited to allow people to hear more about you, your vision, your book. I know just talking about the content of the book and talking about the message in the book, I know that you're very passionate about it. And we had some conversations as well where I was like, maybe let's not be so passionate. So I know you have a lot to say, a lot to share, and you're going to give people a lot to think about. So the first thing I want to do is first give people an opportunity to find out who is Brandi Payne. So tell us a little about you.
Well, I'm author Brandi Payne. I've been writing for at least 10 years now, and I didn't know that I had a spiritual gift to write. And it was something that I kind of just pushed to the side. And so people kept on, coming to me and saying that I had a gift. And so I started to really explore my gift, and through my life experiences, I noticed that I was called to a certain group of women, and I know that I'm called to a group of leading women.
Okay.
And so when I started, people just coming and sharing their stories. So one thing, I had been working on this book for 4 years, but I had to go through some things to actually get to the end point of this book. It was some experiences I had to go through. Plus, I was also sitting back and watching experiences from other people, other women. And so my thing was, okay, I need to provide clarification of being with the wrong partner could really ruin your life. And I think the one problem with women is they stay too long. They stay too long and they wait for someone to change. But this person is clearly showing you that they're never going to change. And it puts women in a spiritual prison that they can't get out of. And they're looking for answers. So my thing was to get this book out, make it so raw and make it gut punching truth to where, okay, I'm with this person. I'm experiencing all these different spirits. Now I can put a name to it. Mm-hmm. And so once I put a name to it, everything came to life. And I would say, for me just coming out with it, one of the most honorable things I've heard from a woman is that she read my book in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And another thing is that one lady has read my book 3 times.
Oh, wow.
So she said each time she reads it, she gets a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And so my thing was to write this book and let it be a spiritual guide, a spiritual warning. It's something that you can pick up and go back to in whatever season you are in with somebody to kind of give you clarification. Hey, this is not working out. I need to leave. Because my thing is, I am very concerned about women's mental health. I'm very concerned about women's safety. And I think that if you don't have a healthy woman, she can't raise a healthy nation, and we don't have healthy children from this type of turmoil that has been displayed through generations and generations of people just yoking up with anything. So
you talk deeply in the book about manipulation and a lot of the red flags that women tend to overlook. Address some of those red flags that you really want to touch on in this book.
well, one red flag is that when you're dealing with people that are manipulators, they come in with a certain agenda, and that's to charm you, that is to gaslight you, that is to tell you everything that you want to hear. One mistake that women make is that we talk, we do all the talking. So when you do all the talking, you allow someone to mirror you. And when they mirror you, they can say everything that you like 99%. And so the problem with women is the first 3 months of knowing somebody, you done told them your whole life.
Right.
And that person that is trying to maybe get something out of you that you don't see is sitting back and taking all the information they can do to destroy you. And I have just seen this play out numerous of times. And one thing I can say for me coming out with a real raw book as I have is that you can't deny the truth. You can't deny it. Like, it may be a little bit, to the extreme of the way I'm trying, but you got to understand that if you want true healing, I have to take the knife out your back. I have to take it out your back.
And it's going to hurt coming out. It's going to hurt coming out.
And so I have, when my personal experience, I have given 20 years of all this relationship experience. So when I'm writing from a seasoned perspective to women, you know what I'm saying? And people come up to me all the time about advice on relationships. So I know that this is my sole purpose. My sole purpose is to heal women and put you on a right course. That way, when somebody else comes around, you can truly look and see, oh, this person is manipulating me. This person is lying to me. Nothing lines up with nothing this person is saying.
I think we do need to touch on, you've said it a couple of times. I made mention of the passion of the book. You said, it's raw. And you address this book when I was editing and looking at it, and I came back to you. I was like, some people might take offense because they would feel like you're saying every man is like this. So I think it is good to acknowledge and let people know before they read it, right, that you understand everybody's not like that, but you are basically wanting to emphasize the danger side. Is that correct? Help
a lot of people don't know that I took a course on manipulation. I took a course on the world, and I took a course on the statistics and data that a lot of people have not, checked into. I did my research, and once I seen that a woman is killed every 4 hours, especially a Black woman, and once I seen that most women are hurt by their partner, they're hurt by their partner, they're hurt by the person that they trust. And so I had to really look deep inside myself and say, okay, I see women are not getting the results they want to in relationships. And I see that there is a turning point that women are going to have to really step up to really protect their wombs from predators that come in that is only after one thing, And so I think the thing about it is, the point is with the men thing is, I feel like that the good men, there are good men, but there's not enough of them to check the bad ones. Because if they didn't check the bad ones, then the bad ones wouldn't feel so bold to do what they do. And they do it in droves. And then once I started to look at the statistics of 93% of men are in prison. 93% of men are in prison. So if you say that, then you say, okay, what is the 7% doing? And that number is just not mathing to what women are going through in relationships. And I think it's time for both men and women to stand up and say, I'm not going to be treated like this. It works on both sides, but I'm going speaking for the woman because she is the life giver.
Okay.
If a woman is under turmoil and stress and depression, how can she really be a good mother to her child? I'm looking at all aspects of how the body is broken down mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially by you just being emotionally tied to the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think enough people have healthy conversations about how a specific person has came in and done set you 10 to 15 and 20 years back.
Mm. How do you balance it? How do you balance it, right? Because I think one of the things that connects you to someone is good conversation, right? And women statistically talk more than men as far as like the volume of words spoken. Like if I when I come home, my wife says, "How was your day?" I say, "Fine. It was good." If I ask my wife how her day was, I'll get a story about, what made her day what it was, right? So I know you said like women talk a lot and they give away a lot of information, which is like very enlightening, right? Because you're right. It does give it basically you open the door wide open. You say, come in and see everything in my house. And if you're a bad person, then you've been given the blueprint to how to, destroy me. So how do you balance that? How do you enjoy your company without being so on edge and worried about, what am I saying that may come back to bite me in the butt? But also, how do I enjoy the company of this person who could be a very good man?
Well, my thing is for women is that you have to properly vet anybody.
Mm-hmm.
There can be healthy dating, but there is key questions, and you definitely have to look at somebody's lifestyle. You have to look at their relationship pattern with
Mm-hmm.
other people. One thing that I had experienced in my time of relationship is that I had somebody to come in my life and use me for resources. This person came in my life and used me for resources because I had a home, I had a car, I had it a little bit, going on. And once all that was brought to light, I knew that that person never loved me, never cared about me, because this person was always trying to get a better option than what they had before them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times there's a problem when people settle for what they got right now. And I think with women, I think a lot of people get to a time where they got biological clocks they want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
They got pressure from the family. They got pressure from the church, social media pressure. Everybody's pressuring everybody to couple up. And I think one of the key core problems with the world is that they push relationships on children.
Yeah.
When I was in school, they asked me was when I was 12-year-old that I have a little boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And then from there, you start being attached to people emotionally. And then that 80% of people have had sex before they're 16.
Yeah.
And so when we think about us giving our body first before we give our time, and we haven't connected ourselves spiritually, we have just robbed our identity of who we're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I have to be real raw. I had to really sit with myself. I've spent a lot of time doing self-mastery on myself. I had to ask myself, would I date me?
Mm-hmm.
And, when I looked at me back in the past, I was only connecting with people because of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't walking around in my healthiness, and I was only operating in 50% of discernment. So if I'm only operating in 50% of discernment, I'm picking the wrong person for me.
Mm-hmm. Let's touch on that. Let's touch on that because that's deep right there. I do believe you draw to you who you believe you deserve, right? You attract the type of people you internally, whether you know it or not, kind of pick the same type of people. Like people tend to pick the same type of person, right? If somebody's in an abusive relationship, they get out of that relationship and then they find somebody and he's the same type of person. And I even had a friend, I have a really dear friend who was in an abusive relationship. She found a good man, and she said the biggest transition for her was understanding he's not going to beat me. So whenever they had an argument, she said she would start, throwing stuff around the house, ripping down pictures, because she was gearing up for the fight. And one day he just told her, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, why do you keep thinking we're going to go there? So how much of this relationship picking and bad toxic relationships, how much of this is an internal magnetization as opposed to it being just bad guys out there?
Well, I look at it, like I said, I'm going to go back to being younger and being 12. Mm-hmm. The world promotes a hookup culture. Hook up. And I think that when you really look at the dynamic of how relationships are going, a lot of people pick wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's a social construct that people have picked wrong. Mm-hmm. And like I said, with me doing history and research, you think about people who have had children out of incest, have had children out of rape, have had children because the church put them together. And people have just made decisions off of what society has said is the norm. And a lot of people have been put in relationships because just pray for them, just help them, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so it puts you in also a spiritual rehab. Mm-hmm. It puts you in a spiritual rehab to try to fix someone. Mm-hmm. And the most fix it is you're going to have to do on yourself, self-mastery. And so my thing is, the problem is people use their body. Your body can become a weapon of mass destruction to somebody. It can destroy you. And so I think with the hookup culture and the way the world is that people are not picking healthy partners. They're picking people that they are attracted to for a moment. Mm-hmm. Nobody is looking for lifetime healthy people that are productive. They're looking for people that look good, they got something to say good one day, and sometimes they don't. Mm-hmm. A broke clock is right twice a day.
Right. Right.
Yeah, a broke clock is right twice a day. So, but what is that person doing the other 22 hours? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest issue is with women going on right now is the divorce rate is high. People outgrow people, going back to when you hook up with somebody when you're 15, 16 years old, you don't have the same perspective at 25. And what other people need to know is that you don't really start to develop true, real reasoning and characteristics till you 25 and up. Mm. So I just sit up here and then gap with somebody when I'm 18, but now my frontal cortex is grown in. And at 25 and 30, I'm looking at this person sideways. I'm like, we don't have anything in common. We have nothing in common. And I think that too solidifies why society is going downhill as far as the relationships. I think people need to be by themselves. Mm-hmm. I really do. I think people don't really want to sit with themselves. They don't want to be in a season of being by themselves. They want other spirits to attach to the trauma that they have. And I just see it all over the world. This is the same thing. Everybody's repeating the same pattern. And I think that it's time for definitely women to wake up, because you do not want to continue to birth nations of people that are unhealthy and have a slave mindset.
It sounds like are you a reader of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing?
No, I mean, okay. I do read, but I mean,
she wrote, and she has the same kind of doctrine. Like, she says you shouldn't get married till you're 30 for those reasons. Like, you haven't developed the proper mental capacities and the experience that you need. And also what I'm hearing, which I think is very interesting, we do a lot of stuff that we have to be prepared for, right? Our careers, we have to be prepared for that. Driving, we have to be prepared for that. But we go into relationships with no preparation. And it sounds like, what you're saying is very interesting. It's like this hookup culture is like, just go out there and just hook up. Well, you don't realize if you hook up with the wrong person, it starts generational impact that could be terrible for you, right? And then because you've connected with this person, like I said, I do think it's a spiritual connection myself. You connect with this person sexually, and then you got this soul tie with them, and then that brings that type of person to you, and so just hooking up, it could lead to generational curses in your life if you believe in that generational trauma. So how do we? And you've given some steps, but like if I was to say, what's the top 3 steps you would tell a person, a woman she hadn't gone into a relationship, and you want to get her before she starts quote unquote hooking up? What would you give her as the top 3 steps to move into relationships?
I think the first thing you do is self-mastery. You work on yourself. You work on fulfilling your own voids. You don't want to allow somebody to fulfill any voids. I think that a lot of women really need to travel. They really need to see the world by themselves. They really need to take a first-hand look at the world. They need to get in mental shape. They need to get in physical shape. They need to read books. They need to enjoy a season or maybe many seasons of just being to themselves. I think the biggest thing that I have learned and other women have learned is that when you give your all to somebody, you lose your own identity, because a lot of times when people yoke up and get in relationships, they take on that dominant spirit's identity. It's whatever they want to do. It's how they make them feel. And then you sit up there and you're losing yourself in that time period. So I just think with women, she's going to have to do a better process of just doing an assessment on relationship elimination and seeing red flags from the beginning. And I think the biggest mistake is giving people the benefit of the doubt. You're already going in trusting. You should never go in trusting. You should go in already being guarded and on alert, because you're looking for something. You're looking for something that is being hidden. And I think when people have personal agendas that they're going to kill, steal, and destroy, they mirror and they hide that so well. And then once they got that person locked in sexually and yoked up and tied in with DNA, then this is when my true nature is coming out. By that time, I'm in debt with you. I done had kids by you. I done married you. We got a home. We got all these things that's keeping us together. But the whole time we was never supposed to be together in the first place.
Now, I 100% agree with that. Now, I'm in a very good relationship, thank God, right? Me and my wife, we've been married 25 years, and I feel like we have a very good relationship. But even that, I tell everybody, everyone's wearing a mask, right? Everyone. Now, that doesn't mean behind the mask is an evil monster. Behind the mask could be the same sweet person, but they just don't clean up as much as they told you they do, right? They don't really care about money and budgeting. They want to spend, whereas before when you met, so we all put on our airs in dating, and like you said, there are some real monsters behind those masks. And, I don't know how I guess, do you have some ways to uncover what is hidden? Like, how do you coax out the true monster if they're hiding behind the mask?
I'm gonna tell any woman, I mean, for your safety and protection, you need to be looking at, do they have any criminal records?
Okay.
You need to be looking at how many children they have.
Okay.
You need to be looking at, do they even have their own stability outside of somebody else helping them? I'm gonna say something real quick to show you about generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, how does everybody have a drunk, a crackhead, and all these different characteristics in their family? Why does every family have all these different dynamic characteristics? Somebody's drunk, somebody's a crackhead, somebody got a whole bunch of babies, somebody in prison. Why is every family like this? That's one thing. Another thing too is you have to be careful of people who give you just any type of advice. You cannot take advice from a lot of people because some people just want to see you in the same situation they are.
Right.
And I think with women, they need to stop thinking that all of you are going to get married. Every woman is not going to get married. Every woman is not going to have a good husband. And that's okay. That's okay. You can live without that. I just think that people need to start living into reality. Reality is your best teacher. What you see out here in the world. What do you see out here in the world? I think one of the biggest things about women is they're waiting. You got women that have been waiting 20 years for a good husband or a good man to come, and they still haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. So you have put your whole life on hold waiting for this dynamic relationship. And I think, like I said, women need to spend time with themselves. They need to protect their womb. They need to protect their mental health. They need to keep, things around them that is healthy, that is feeding them, that is good. I think that with this hookup culture and toxic people, you got to understand they always looking for a relationship. Mm-hmm. You got people that's hopping from relationship. Women all over the world are waking up to a different perspective and a different reality about relationships. And I think with this hookup culture, everybody is kind of opting out in certain, just different generations at different times. They're certainly opting out and they're saying, okay, something is not right. And it's time to fix that. It's time to really fix that. I just think as the world changes, it's time to fix the first things is relationships, and it starts with yourself.
Now, we could probably talk all day, I feel like, because this conversation has been amazing and deep and dense as well, like just packed with good information. But we want people to get the book so they can get a better taste of this message. Can he pray for me instead of praying on me? So how can people get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me through my Gmail. It's BrandiPayne5000 at gmail.com. They also can get my book from my very well deserved publishing company, TrueVinePublishing.com. My thing is, if I save one woman, I save a nation. And I just truly want women all over the world to take a look inside themselves, because I give you clarification. I give you answers on what you need to survive out here in relationship world. And I just want to continue to grow my platform. I got many, many more books in me, and this is not the last that you have heard from me.
Well, look, everyone, I want you to like, I want you to share and subscribe. Let's get the word out about Brandi Payne. Let's get the word out to as many women as we can to bring about healing, restoration. Brandi, it has been a pleasure, and I thank you.
Pleasure. All right, thank you. Talk to you later.